BizMap PTBO, Peterborough's business vlog. Each episode creates a business map to your success, showcasing why PTBO is the place to live, play, and prosper. Welcome to BizMap PTBO. You may notice we're in a location that you may be familiar with, Kawartha TV and Stereo. Scott's a friend of mine. We've been working together, I think, almost 3 years now.
That's right.
And as you know, with BizMap PTBO, we like to interview businesses who have a lot to offer in the community. And I can't think of anyone who has forgotten more than most know about their industry. Scott, tell us, how did you even start Kawartha TV and Stereo?
Well, it's a funny story. My brother was selling sewing machines door to door back in the early 70s. Actually, it was 1970. He was selling sewing machines, and he realized that he needed sewing machines. That's right, yeah.
Holy.
And he needed a retail space. So I think it was 1971. He opened up a store on the south side of Charlotte Street, beside the White House Hotel.
Oh.
It's still there. And anyways, he opened up the store and started selling sewing machines.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. How do you go from sewing machines to the evolution of Kawartha TV and Stereo?
Well, it was a great story. He tells it better than I do, but basically the sewing machine supplier also carried stereo systems. So he thought, well, I've got 4 sewing machines on the floor. They sell the rep at the time for the sewing machine supplier said, well, you should carry one of the stereo systems. So he put one on the floor.
In 1970?
1971.
Okay.
And that particular stereo sold almost immediately that day. So he needed another one. Money was short at the time, so he took the money from that one, drove to Toronto, bought another one, brought it back, put it in the store. It was there the next day, and he sold it.
Wow.
So he goes, well, okay, now I've got enough money to buy 2. So he drove to Toronto and bought 2 and sold them. And the rest is history. I mean, we started off with sewing machines, and the truth be known, I think we still have the original 4 sewing machines somewhere.
Wow. So I guess the company's name wasn't Kawartha TV and Stereo when it started then.
No, that's correct. It was Kawartha Sewing and Stereo Center Limited.
Wow, Kawartha Sewing and Stereo Limited. So why did they get out of the sewing machines then?
Well, the sewing machines, like I said, they basically sat on the floor and weren't selling. And at the time,
Sure.
The stereos, and then we morphed into TVs right away. They were selling like hotcakes. They were going off the floor, and the sewing machines weren't really selling anymore. So it was a real easy transition for my brother.
What kind of competition would he have had back then?
Back then, there was no box stores or chains or anything like that. So it was all locals, independents. The biggest TV one at the time was Gibson Star TV, and they were on George Street across from No Frills.
Wow.
And they were there, and Sam Gibson, that was his store, and he retired later on, but my brother actually and Sam ended up becoming good friends. So, but he was probably one of them, and there was a few other competition at the time. Later on, I guess it'd be the 80s, there was a chain called Crazy Crazies. They were in town. There was a few other independents as well, until the chains and the box stores moved in.
Well, how did you get involved?
Well, it was about 33 years ago. I was out west, actually. My brother called me and he said, I want you to come and join the business. And I said, okay. I would say about 5-6 weeks later, I came and joined the business, and the rest is history. I've been here ever since. There is a bit of there's a gap between our ages. We're 17 and a half years between our ages, so he's long since retired, of course. But at the time, I think he was just working his way into that position, and he wanted somebody that here, family-wise, that could be at the wheel at some point.
That's fantastic. But what an evolution. I mean, now when you think of electronics, there are so many competitors, box stores, online. How do you even compete?
That's true. There is a lot of competitors now. Competition. Well, the biggest thing that I can attribute to us competing is we're part of an enormous buying group. It's a Canadian buying group, electronics buying group. And they have, our buying group has 600 storefronts across Canada, West Coast to East Coast, all the way across every province. And so if I'm interested in buying 50 TVs, between our buying group, that 50 could turn into 1,000 TVs very easily.
Wow.
So we get the deals that the box stores would get. So we're getting the same kind of pricing because we're part of this buying group. So it's worked out very, very well.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize that. So the buying group for electronics. So you are in electronics, televisions, stereos, cameras, appliances?
Appliances,
What?
yeah,
Does
I
that
know.
make any sense?
I know it should be Kawartha TV and stereo and appliances limited. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, a lot of people don't even know this. There's a few of us who will remember. It was 35 years ago we were into appliances. Our main line was Admiral, and I'm sure a lot of viewers will remember Admiral back in the day. And we had appliances down in our appliance room was in the basement. When if you saw our basement now, you're wondering how we ever got them appliances down there. But anyways, we got out of it, and our buying group suggested that we get back into it again. They knew that Sears was slowly closing, and Sears have a huge gap. They were one of the strongest appliance outlets in town for years and years and years. So hoping to get a piece of that business down the road, so we started into appliances. And we're carrying 4 lines now, and we've taken about 25% of our space in the store and dedicated to appliances.
That's interesting. So I thought you got into appliances because of things like Google Home and Siri, and the fact that
Alexa, yeah.
Alexa, thank you. And that's what I was stalling for, because you know much more about it than I do. And the whole smart home ability, because now you've got your
amazing.
Electronics that you are, an expert in, then that you sell. And it makes sense to me that you also can control through your electronics, your security systems, which you guys sell, but also your appliances now, which is so cool. So the only problem with this whole concept of appliances, Scott, is if I'm not home, I've got my, washer full of stuff, and I want it to start. Now, I need to train my dog, I think, to take it from the washer into the dryer. That part doesn't make any sense to me, but I digress. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. But you guys, when I'm here, I often see people coming in with their boxes and stuff. Do you guys do a lot of service? We don't talk about that as often as
Yes.
I think we should.
Right from the get-go, I would say probably within a year after we opened, we had our in-house service department. And we've always had technicians on site. We've had 3 locations. We're on the south side of Charlotte, then we're on the north side of Charlotte, and then we've been in this location for, I guess, about 34 or 35 years now.
I forgot to ask. So you've been here for 34 years.
That's right.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, maybe even a little longer, but right around there.
Here being the bargain corner
yeah,
of...
bargain corner, yeah, 188 Park Street South on the bargain corner.
Park
and Lansdowne, that's right.
If you Google bargain corner of, you guys come up.
Should be in the Webster's Dictionary.
Yeah, it should
corner,
be. Bargain corner, Peterborough. You guys come up. Kawartha TV and stereo. It's pretty good.
I like the way you think.
No, it's true. I've Googled it because I forgot how to spell bargain at one point. And you guys came up first thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
I digress.
I have to say our service department.
Yeah.
I mean, service has changed over the years. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a throwaway world. But back in the day, I would say we had about 8 or 9 on staff, just service.
Yeah.
With
Wow.
6 full-time technicians, 2 full-time employees, and then a part-time clerk on the weekends for taking product in. But yeah, so we still have a full service department. We have still 2 full-time technicians, and we service, stereos, TVs, everything. Basically, if it plugs into the wall, we service it.
So to me, service must be a part of the business that's important. If I want to buy something online, or if I want to buy something local, if I want to buy something from a box store, I would think service has got to set you apart.
Absolutely, and there's more ways than one to look at service. So service, right off the bat, is you think that it's a soldering gun and you're fixing a circuit board, but that's not necessarily. So many people might want to know how to actually hook up their TV the proper way, or plug their stereo in the proper way, or have a question about a remote, how to program it to run another device. We consider that service as well, which you wouldn't get online at all.
One of the things we like to do in BizMap is share with businesses how they can use some of your knowledge to help improve their own business or expand. And one of the things I see you doing really well is, I don't want to say beating up, but working with your manufacturers and your suppliers. I think that's huge for you. I mean, you've got all sorts of different relationships with them that you've nurtured. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. Having a close relationship with your suppliers is huge important. Whether it's a supplier that maybe you're only selling a few of their pieces a year or many thousands of their pieces a year, having a good relationship really works well. If there is a deal to be had, they might call you first, and things like that. So I highly recommend. Cool. And dealing local too. For when we're talking suppliers, it's not always the big manufacturers like the Panasonics and the Samsungs of the world. We're dealing local too with certain suppliers as well. So I deal local as much as I possibly can, from anything from construction to office supplies to to carpet to whatever we need in the store. So I do highly recommend anybody that they should always deal as much local as possible. As you end up being gets paid forward for sure, and what goes around comes around.
Well, you support so many local businesses in what you do as far as contests. Well, you'll include a local restaurant for Valentine's. I mean, you do so much of that, which is very cool. What advice would you have for a business in Peterborough that's in a competitive environment like yours? What advice would you have for themselves to succeed?
Well, first of all, have a good business plan and be honest, 100% honest. If you do have a customer crossing through your door or even online in a question and you can't answer the question off the top of your head, find out the proper answer, the right answer, and then let them know right away. Like I said before, deal local as much as you can. If I'm buying something from somebody local, they're going to probably buy from me, or at least I hope they would buy from me. So I would say, have a good business plan, be honest, stick to your plan, talk to other businesses around, maybe other businesses. I have a pretty good relationship with a few stores that are about the same size of us in Ontario, and we call each other once or twice a week and just sort of touch base on what's going on.
That's often.
And I use that. That's a huge tool for me. And same size business, same type of business. So I would say stay informed.
Yeah, stay informed. And it sounds like you have a learning with these people. You're constantly learning from each other, those other few businesses that you speak to often.
Yeah, that's right. And that's sort of the behind the scenes stuff that you can't really get taught. You sort of learn through osmosis, I guess, after a while. And our buying group, being part of a buying group doesn't hurt. And there's many buying groups out there for different businesses. And ours in
different
particular,
industries?
Different
really?
industries,
Whatever
that. You're in, So it could be anything from office supplies to furniture to mattresses to, in our case, is electronics. So there are different buying groups out there. Most buying groups have portals where you can go on and learn about products, and ours does for sure. So our staff here are always continually updating their technology and their knowledge of the product. And these are these portals. You just go online, learn about the new products that are coming out, and stay informed and stay on top of it.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with BizMap today. I really appreciate that.
That was great. Thanks very much, Sophie.
My pleasure. Okay, and welcome back. We're here at Kawartha TV and Stereo, and I'd like to introduce you to Craig McFarlane from Linwood Homes. He's a longtime friend of Kawartha TV and Stereo. Thanks for joining me today. I don't know much about Linwood Homes other than what I see in the beautiful magazines and online. But what's it all about?
Our company's celebrating 50 years
Wow.
this year of construction know-how, and I think one of our taglines is the complete building solution. So we're actually from the design, and we designed to budget our houses. We've delivered 10,000. We showcase 500.
Okay.
We ship worldwide, 27 countries.
So you showcase 500 homes, and then go on.
Well, we're custom designers.
Okay.
So basically the ones we're showcasing are of different styles.
Yes.
So a modern, low slope pitch roof to a high pitch cathedral ceiling post and beam.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
We do the odd timber frame, the odd log, but our forte is post and beam within a conventional frame.
Okay. I'd like an A-frame, by the way.
Okay, well, we can handle that.
Okay, thank you.
But it's all about the land.
It's all about the land.
So what we're known for is site-specific designs.
Ah, okay.
So we would
So I
work
want
with,
a little bit of a cliff to put it into, okay?
if that's what you want,
Okay, okay.
we would take into consideration the land, the style of home that you want.
Yeah,
So you may see one of our styles and say, I like this, but I want this and this. Fine. So I can take that style, reduce the square footage, change the layout, change the facade of the material to suit your budget,
wow,
to
wow.
suit the lay of the land,
Oh,
to
nice.
suit all those things. So it's Linwood Custom Homes.
I get ahead of myself a little bit there because I love the quality and the look of the homes. I actually have a Pinterest board just basically on your homes.
Perfect.
So I lie when I say I didn't know exactly what you guys were. But it started in BC,
Well,
and you're here.
The
Tell me
plant and
about that.
manufacturing facility is in British Columbia, in
Okay.
Delta. So we've got a number of corporate offices across Canada, and we're the furthest east. So we're directly factory direct
Okay.
to a certain extent. And we have a dealer network and a builder network as well. That basically, my responsibilities now after developing, different parts of the world. I've lived in Peterborough my whole life, so it's nice to have this as a central hub. But we're sending packages to, recently Bishop Falls, Newfoundland.
Okay,
And Halifax and East Coast, but I think predominantly in this area it's the Kawartha Lakes, and so Haliburton Highlands, Muskoka region, doing some stuff in the Rideau system, Ottawa Valley, and that's through a network of dealers, builders, and through our corporate offices.
How has your industry evolved or changed since you've been involved with it, or since over 50 years that they've started?
Well, I started 30 years ago with the
Wow,
company.
okay.
So I started as a builder.
Okay.
So I took civil engineering, and then, my forte was design and build, and I started a building company, and I was lucky to be one of the first builders in Eastern Canada.
Oh, okay.
So that was great. And after working with the product, the product was beautiful. It was BC Western framing, straight, true, sticks that were 24 feet
Wow.
long, posts and beams and ample material, and it was just beautiful to work with. So, liking the design end, I decided that I was fortunate enough to have a construction company, and we were offered to build one. And after building one, I said, I could build more, and we were
Nice.
given more. And then I said, I can sell this because the product sells itself.
Yeah.
So the design and sales came along, and after 5 or 6, I met the president of the company who was establishing some model homes in Barrie, and he got to know me very quickly. And after the work I had done, because I actually started to sell and build,
Yeah.
and came on full time with him in 1990. So I've been, between the construction end and coming on full time as a consultant through the design end and sales end, to vice president of the company, and it's 30 years, and I've delivered 500 homes.
Well, that's amazing. So you get from being a builder yourself
Yeah.
to building their product to now selling and running their company on this side of as east as you go.
This side of the world.
This side of the world. That's impressive. So you know what you speak of. So you mentioned something about electronics in the house. So this, I'm actually thinking this might be where you somehow work with Kawartha TV and stereo.
Oh, you know what? Long-standing relationship. I think it's 44 years ago. I made some money, came down, needed a stereo system, and
So that's when you were
This is where I came to buy it.
3.
Yeah, that's
You were
it.
3. Yeah, I could just see a toddler walking
I
in.
started shoveling driveways and making money. So, and I know great product offering, great service. As someone young, purchasing items, you need professional people that know their business. And Kawartha TV and stereo staff are very unique that way.
It's interesting. I find the staff here have been here quite a long time. Someone who's new feels they've been here already 6 years. They say I'm new compared to the rest of the folks here. So it's quality staff with amazing experience is what I'm finding.
amazing technical experience too. I'm finding everyone doesn't have the technical savvy that the staff has here. So Scott's assembled some really key people and has specialists for all his departments.
Yeah.
And many of them. So I can go to any department.
It's funny because we interviewed Scott earlier, obviously, which is why we're here. And one of the things that I find invaluable is the quality of the knowledge of his staff.
Yeah.
And you just said that as well. And it's one of the things that we ran out of time when we were talking. And before the interview and after the interview, he said, that's my biggest quality, and that's my biggest, I guess, unique advantage compared to someone who's online or unique offering,
Yeah.
is the quality of the staff.
Staff makes it. And again, I've experienced that as a consumer myself personally. So over the years, from electronics to car stereos to boat stereos and that kind of fun stuff, to TVs and computers and fax machines, and I think I bought something in every department many times. Cameras. Back in the day when he had the cell phones, all my phones were here, and I was in all the time, getting my upgraded phone here, there, and the techies were always there, helping me keep up with everything.
His staff, everything, all the equipment we used for BizMap was from the advice of Justin Holt, who is their camera person, and there's no one better than him. I mean, if you had any type of question when it comes to any type of camera, what the settings should be, what the lighting, what's wrong with the sound, he knows more about it than anything. You Google things, and Justin will say, "Yeah, okay, that's fine, but they're missing this and this and this."
I recently bought a camera for our company, so definitely he dialed me into the right product.
Yeah,
and has taught me everything I need to know to be a professional cameraman, even though I'm not. I'm just someone managing a bit of marketing for our company, and it's great to have some tools that they offer. But even more so, through that experience that I've had personally, taking it to my business, Linwood Homes, we've purchased for our shows and, big screen TVs and portable trays and equipment that go along with that. I love to utilize the local suppliers. So I'm from Peterborough, love Peterborough, lived here my whole life, don't plan on moving too far in the future. And, I've created a network of local people, and I've actually taken, local suppliers and local tradespeople and taken them to the Muskokas.
Yeah.
No one trusts them, and sure enough, Scott actually has been a great partner with the Princess Margaret Homes.
Oh, really?
And, so all the electronics that I'm utilizing in both the Muskokas and the Kawarthas are
You
from
had mentioned
Kawartha TV.
that he was involved, so he does.
Now I'm into appliances.
Oh, cool.
So we've got, I know and trust the pricing, the quality, the service that I'm going to have at the end if there's any issues or problems. I'm always on a budget, so I have to look that way, and they can steer me in the right direction to keep on budget.
Yeah.
And beyond that program, I have some very trusted clients, and as a designer and selling them their home, I'm supporting them in basically building it. So part of that support is directing them in the right direction and hooking them up with suppliers and tradespeople so they can get the best value for their money.
What would you give advice to others if they're trying to work locally and grow their companies? And that's what you were alluding to, was your partnerships.
Partnerships is one part of it, but again, it's a service that I offer to my clients. So it's beyond the design and the package that I deliver. It's creating that first site-specific design, taking it right through to helping them make the right decisions through the process, hooking them up with the right team. So through the time and effort that I put into that, what I'm getting back out, and my success is due to referral business.
That's absolutely right.
So
You've made their experience.
They experience, they enjoy it, they have fun, they're proud of their homes. Every spring and fall, I do a Linwood construction home tour. So we hop on a bus.
Oh, nice.
And we go see a dozen to 15 homes. It's great. Some are during construction, others are finished. And I have people that open their door for a busload of people
Oh, lovely.
to come through their house. But I mean, they've experienced that process before.
They were on that bus
They were on the
last
bus
year.
before, and if
Yeah.
they happen to be building within that bus route,
What a great
you know,
way to do it. I always say, 'cause I'm a digital marketing professional,
Yeah.
is you try and get one of your clients to give a testimonial, interview them, put it online. Well, you've got a bus of folks coming, and each of them have become testimonials for you afterwards.
we sell out, and the majority on that tour, they go ahead and they become clients.
Wow. So I think there's something to be said about how do you stay successful, or how do you become successful. One is, obviously customer service, working locally. Another theme I'm seeing in this episode is working with your suppliers to give specials or contract prices in your case, through to your end clients.
My clients are buying direct.
Yeah.
So, and they're dealing directly with the subtrades. And there's lots of flexibility with an electrician walking through, a home before any wiring starts.
Yeah.
And, myself personally will give advice to, lighting and wiring, but the electrician will also, and then we have Kawartha TV and Stereo can come in and do all the pre-wiring for not only media, but any other smart home items that they may want to get.
Very cool.
So clients are very happy. They're impressed and they enjoy the whole process.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for coming on BizMap PTBO here at Kawartha TV and Stereo. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
It was great meeting you, even though
Thank you.
I think we've met before somewhere. But great meeting you again.
Okay. Thank you.